So, do you sometimes feel like this whole COVID-19 has taken on a life of its own, and that there is so much information out there that sometimes our clients and maybe even ourselves are so caught up in it that we're living in this vortex filled with fear and overwhelm? You see, I think my message today, being the first Monday in May, is that fear and overwhelm is a complete normal part of something like the COVID-19 process. It's real. It happens. People get caught up in it, especially when we have 24/7 news cycles, and we all know someone who spends their day watching the news, right? So you've got all of this information going on, swirling around our clients' lives, right? And then there's the overlay of maybe they need to buy or sell a home, and you have this fear and overwhelm happening. And I guess, what I want to point out to you is that everyone is in a different place. In other words, some folks are probably processing and dealing with what's happening just fine, while others are so caught up in it that they're paralyzed, or they're completely ready to just like go live in a bunker 6 feet under the ground, right? So there's a process that kind of walks all of us through this. And the first thing is that we need to do is observe and really like understand where this person is and where they're coming from. Once we observe and kind of get a feel for where they're at, we then begin to orient ourselves, which is another way of really gaining understanding about where they're at in the process. When we get those two things going, we have to decide what our next step is going to be with them. In other words, are we going to talk them through the process? Are we going to, go out of our way to sort of prove that they're wrong, which may not be the best solution, right? Talking through the process makes a whole lot more sense because, some folks are very invested in their opinions, right? But decide what your next steps are, and then take the action to decide to move forward in a direction. And by the way, moving forward in a direction can be not now. Not everything has to be this second. But in an era where we're dealing with a lot of fear and overwhelm, going through this process of observe, orient, decide, and act can really help quantify how the client is feeling, and really how you're feeling and how you're responding back to that client. Make it a great week. Thanks for being here.